The following expression is highly attractive, whether you're a man or woman. We're going to dive into this today. And within this expression, we're going to share 5 must-haves for your relationship to flourish, succeed, and actually be something that you can go, wow, I'm so grateful I'm in this relationship. So something occurs to me. Why do most early relationships, most couples rarely make it ever to the 6-month mark, let alone the 6-week mark? Think about that. How many fledgling relationships are beginning at this very moment and they never make it to the 6-month mark, let alone the 6-week mark? I think it's because it's missing one key component. But it starts with the following component that makes them go awry, and that is false alignment, false alignment. Now, we oftentimes think about this as compatibility, and we're going to dive into that a little more, but I like to think of it as two people. Are they aligned with one another? Do they share the same values? Do they have the same vision for a relationship future? Are their lifestyles even blendable with one another? And most importantly, do they have the emotional maturity to actually succeed in relationship? Think about those words, emotional maturity. Now, oftentimes women are pointing the finger at men at being emotionally immature, emotionally constipated, and emotionally unavailable. But the reality is men and women equally have poor relationship skills, poor communication skills. And actually, for the women watching this, they think you are so better at this than men. I can honestly say many of you are not. Many of you wear duct tape over your mouth, afraid to speak your truth, but you seem to claim that you're better than them at this. Because the reality is most humans don't know how to go inward to actually identify what they are feeling on the inside and then actually expressing themselves in such a way that can be seen, heard, and understood. But I think it's a failing of the following, and that is, and I'm going to say this is highly attractive to whether you're a man or woman, is gratitude. Gratitude. Can someone write that down? Gratitude. And we're going to dive into this because it's so important to lean into gratitude, particularly for the relationship to succeed beyond the surface. You know, it's interesting. This has happened to me almost every funeral I ever went to. And I'm asking you to sit with this thought for a moment. Have you ever been to a funeral? Have you ever been to a wake? Have you ever been to a memorial service where you're sitting there in absolute sadness for the person that you may have lost, but more importantly, gratitude that you are alive, gratitude that you actually have the capacity to go beyond what they did? Most of us feel that way. We feel an immense sense of gratitude, not for the person that's transitioned, but for our own life. And you know what's interesting is for the next 72 hours, the average person sits in this immense gratitude, treating people kinder, being more loving, being more expressive. And then we revert back to our old habits. It's a sad reality. And oftentimes we don't even express appreciation for someone in relationship until something's gone wrong, instead of hyper focusing on gratitude throughout the relationship. Did you hear me say hyper focus? Well, again, this is my judgment, so you take it for what it's worth. But when I say we, I mean the collective we who is in seeking that life partnership-based relationship. I think to be intentional and to be hyper-focused on gratitude, not to necessarily be a doormat to circumstances and to sweep things under the rug, but more importantly, is to actually embody a sense of appreciation, gratitude, and gratefulness. So, what makes relationships more attractive? What are these 5 must-haves? Well, I shared this earlier. I talked about false alignment because false alignment is what oftentimes gets the bus going for most relationships today. Couples today rely more on chemistry and fantasy rather than those shared values I talked about, rather than shared vision for a future, rather than really recognizing, can your life fit into my life and can my life fit into your life? But Jonathan, if we love each other, magic fairy dust will make everything work out. I hear this predominantly from women. They seem to think if love can solve incompatibility, somehow that you're going to completely evolve, completely shift as a human being. And yet lifestyle compatibility is radically important, at least in the early, not the early stages, but for a relationship to flourish long term. Because if you can't combine your lives, then what's the point of being in relationship with one another? And as I said before, emotional maturity. One of the functions of emotional maturity is to be able to speak from a compassionate place. Well, let me reframe that. From a sincere place of identifying what are my needs in relationship? How am I feeling about certain things? And expressing that to my partner. Look, I know many of you can accept a transactional relationship, particularly the old-fashioned type of transactional relationship where the man is the provider, protector, and the woman is the homemaker. But if you're in midlife, if you've been around the block, if you're in the age demographic I'm talking to, roughly 75% of singles over 45 years are divorced. They have their own established lives, and that old paradigm doesn't work the same for those of us in midlife as it might possibly work in our 20s and 30s. And quite frankly, here in the United States, you need two incomes to survive anyway. So it's the exception, not the rule, where you get that particular dynamic. But as I said before, false alignment versus real alignment. You see, we oftentimes, we've been sold this narrative from a dating perspective, that attraction, entertaining one another, romance, and physical connection will ignite the relationship to something substantial. And yet, when I talked about emotional maturity, I'm really reflecting upon those that have been most likely have childhood wounds and adult traumas that keeps them in a state of fear, that keeps them in a state of disconnect, that keeps them in a state of agitation. And oftentimes they find themselves in what's known as insecure, a love attachment style. And if you're not familiar with love attachment, I highly recommend checking that out, because the vast majority of people who are in the dating marketplace today have an insecure love attachment style. Maybe they're anxious. Maybe they're fearful avoidant. Maybe they're dismissive avoidant. Maybe they're disorganized. They fear love, and then they enter into relationship during the temporary high of the chemicals going on between one another, but they have incapacity, or not incapacity, a weak capacity to go beyond the surface. You see, we only needed the surface to make babies in the past, okay? After that, you were kind of on your own to some, when I say you're on your own, when you lived in a tribe and you had other people to support you, it was a lot easier. Nowadays, particularly for those of us in midlife, we need something more than just that transactional component of relationship. So again, as I talk about real alignment, do you align on your values? Are you on the same page on your core must-haves? See, do you even spend time to identifying it beyond the surface level? See, that's what I'm really talking about. Most people operate on a surface level in dating, and no wonder relationships barely make it 6 months, let alone 6 weeks. So I mentioned earlier gratitude, the hidden power of gratitude. That's number 2. Number 1, false alignment versus real alignment. Okay, number 2, the hidden power of gratitude. Gratitude is emotional nourishment, a daily multivitamin that sustains alignment and connection. How often, I want you to think about this for a moment. Think past maybe your last relationship. Maybe you're in a relationship right now. How often do you say the words, I'm grateful you're in my life? How often do you say, I appreciate you? How often do you use the word gratitude? Now, this might sound like a brag, but I can promise you, I probably say it in my current relationship every time we're together, at least a dozen times throughout the day, that when we're together and even when we're apart, I express gratitude, appreciation. There is something powerful in those words when you can actually embody a feeling, an emotion of gratitude. I am grateful that this person is in my life. and by saying it out loud. I know many of the women watching this will say, but Jonathan, I feel this way, but he'll never talk. Folks, if you're not getting nitty gritty, okay, I want you to think about it this way. The person you're in relationship should feel like they're your best friend. And I would think people that are genuine good friends are grateful that you're in each other's lives. I know with my dearest, oldest friend, I've known him for 40 years. I express gratitude with him daily, not daily, but regularly. And by the way, there's a difference between saying the words thank you versus I'm grateful, I appreciate you, gratitude. Those three words have powerful magnifying powers to them, and particularly in romantic love. I think couples who express gratitude with each other multiple times throughout the day, it's like taking your vitamins in the morning, it's taking your vitamins in the afternoon, it's taking your vitamins in the evening. When you're in a state of appreciation, that is really one of the healthiest forms of love, is to be in that state of appreciation. I shared with you 5 must-haves. The third one is micro moments matter. Micro moments matter. It's not the grand gestures I'm talking about. It's saying also, and I say thank you. I appreciate, you can say thank you for listening, or I appreciate you listened to me just now. Actually acknowledge communication when two people are communicating with one another. Not only acknowledging what they say, but expressing appreciation for their effort. If couples got in the habit of doing this regularly, do you know how much that would reduce the inflammation many couples have, the friction that they have? When you're constant in a state of appreciation and gratitude. I know I'm saying constant. I know you might think, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. But think about the hundreds and hundreds of words you might communicate to your partner in any given day that you're together. And imagine, again, not saying the words thank you, although it's good to say thank you. But more importantly, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate you being vulnerable in those micro moments, because they matter, because it reinforces love. And it is highly attractive to men and women in relationship. Number 4, gratitude as emotional foreplay. Gratitude as emotional foreplay. Appreciation deepens safety and desire, turning everyday interactions into moments of intimacy. When couples are actually in a state of gratitude, particularly before they go into physical connection with one another, it is a powerful amplifier. It is foreplay that can turn a mediocre lovemaking session into a grand lovemaking session. Please forgive me, I'm laughing a little bit. And while you're in the throes of physical connection, by being expressive in gratitude, with a smile, with a hug, with a whisper in the ear, I am so grateful you're in my life. I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate you. I love the way I appreciate who you are. Try that on for size. Can someone write that down? I appreciate who you are. I appreciate your being. I love your being. I love who you are. I like who you are. Try that on for size the next time you're together, instead of the performative nature that most couples operate with. How's your day going? Did you have a good day? I hope you had a good day. And lastly, with this conversation, I'm going to invite a challenge for you all. Raise your hand if you're in a relationship. Raise your hand if you're currently dating someone. Raise your hand if you have family and friends that are active in your life. My challenge for you is, for the next 7 days, make it a habit to everybody who's in your life, particularly your romantic relationship, to express gratitude 7 times a day for the next 7 days. Now, within the words gratitude, I'm talking about the expression of the words grateful, appreciation, and gratitude. Outside of thank you, Now, certainly thank you is good, but I believe the words appreciation and actually say them out loud. You can do text messaging as a little bit as well, but I want you to imagine this energy that comes from the words appreciation. It's like a powerful emotional currency that builds deposits within your relationship. And that's my invitation for everybody over the next 7 days. For those that are in your life who you care about, could be family and friends, but more importantly, if you're in a relationship, in fact, I make it a habit. I make it a habit with my partner that we make sure that we always express gratitude before we go to bed when we're together. And we actually invite each other to name 3 things we're most grateful for about each other. We do this regularly. You know what this does? This builds the deep roots of trust. This builds the foundation. So, God forbid, we have a disconnect between us at some point where there's a difference, where we're possibly on the other sides of the fence. We lean into love because we built the foundation. And that's my invitation for all of you. Can you do that? Can you accept that challenge? If you say, yes, I accept that challenge. And again, the key words: gratitude, appreciation, grateful. Intertwine that in your vocabulary beyond the thank you. And not that thank you isn't important, but I think we think of thank you almost as a benign words, not the same depth. And so I want you to practice appreciation, grateful, and gratitude in your vocabulary. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating with you? I'd like to hear if it did, if what I just shared had value. Has this expression can this expression be highly attractive when you're a man or woman? I'd like to hear about this. Post a comment below. I do my best to read them all in the first 24 hours. As always, if you find value in my videos, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new videos. And if you want to connect with me directly, hey, there's links below. Schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. Join my group called Midlife Love Mastery. Check out the books I recommend, all listed below, and get my dating vows or join my my mailing list, all listed below. All right, those who know my live format know it's time for Q&A. If you have a question, there's a little chat box in the corner. Write the word question, then post the question thereafter. Or you can purchase a super sticker, super chat. All the monies from the super sticker, super chat goes to a scholarship fund in the name of my son, Connor Asley. That's a picture of him right there. He's my son who passed away over 7 years ago. And his honor, we donate to causes like the Hoffman Process, Insight Institute, and scholarships to coaching as well. I'd love to get us $50 tonight. So if 10 of you donated $5, we get to that goal. And I already see some, Griselle says, yes, always good to appreciate. Joy wants to say thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that. Tropical Empress and Spirit has just written, the difference is the action must align with the words that are spoken. Many times they do not align with each other. You hear one thing, but are shown the opposite of what is being said. You know, one of my girlfriend said to me something early on when we began our relationship. She said, I have 2 requests. She said, always come from love. And her second request is say what you mean what you say, kind of thing. In other words, may your actions be aligned with your words. And I can think of only, and I'm trying to think of one time. Well, I mean, there are times I might not always come from love. I could be stuck in my crap, but there's when I say in my own world, but my invitation for myself is always to come from love, and my actions match my words. And so sadly, many people will say one thing and their actions speak otherwise, which is really a reflection of they didn't mean what they said. And if you're going to say something, then mean it and live by it. Because quite frankly, anything less, I don't want to say are liars or anything like that, but they're out of integrity. One of my favorite books is the is the Four Agreements, and then add to that the Fifth Agreement by Don Miguel Ruiz. And it's about one of the most important agreements is living with integrity, in my opinion. So yeah, Tropical Empress, I know many people that aren't in alignment that way. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. So thanks so much for that. I appreciate it. All right, let's see what else we have here. If you have a question, write the word question, then post the question thereafter. I'd love to get some more questions. Otherwise, we're going to have a short broadcast tonight. I'd like to hear what your thoughts about how often, let me ask you a question. How often do you say the words gratitude, grateful, or appreciation? How often do you actually think you say it in any given day? Beyond thank you. Not that I don't appreciate thank you, but sit with it and ask yourself, how often? Let me just say, I appreciate all of you. I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am. And with much gratitude, I appreciate your efforts on my channel. But do you see how I just did that, using that beyond the thank you? I want you to sit with how often do you do that? Rhonda's in the house. Let's see what she has to say. Sandy does say all the time. I'm happy to hear you say that, Sandy. Okay, Rhonda's in the house. Hello, Jonathan. It's great that you and your beloved are willing to dive and explore. What are your love attachment styles? And did you have challenges based on your styles? Great question. So I would venture to say my partner, my beloved, is as close to secure as I've ever met a woman. I think she might have been slightly avoidant, but I think that was due to misalignment in her past relationships. My tendency is to be a bit anxious. I have a slight tendency to go into fear, but being with a secure person, I find myself being way more secure now. So we haven't really had an issue on fear within our relationship. I mean, a couple times a text message didn't get returned or there was a miscommunication. I mean, these are micro circumstances that can happen, I think, in relationship. But thankfully we operate. Now, to me, what's most important about the difference between anxious, the insecure and secure, is that we are clearly in the I'm fully committed in this relationship. We continually talk about our relationship vision with one another. Let me repeat that. We continually talk about our relationship vision. And when you continually talk about your relationship vision and you're taking steps towards that vision together, then I think you become more secure. I think the real problem, to some degree, isn't so much whether someone is anxious or avoidant, insecure in their relationship, is they haven't really established their genuine relationship vision with one another, Rhonda. And I think that's some of the reasons why couples are struggling, because they're not on the same page. They don't articulate gratitude, appreciation. They're not in a state of genuine love with their partner. They're just experiencing companionship, connection, and sex. And they have a transactional relationship. And when people find themselves transactional, add to that if they have an insecure attachment style, I do believe that could be problematic. So great question. Thanks for jumping in, Rhonda. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, see? Sandy wants to say, I appreciate you and the time you take for your podcast. Oh, thank you, Sandy. You followed up with a question. Let's see. I've been meaning to ask you the picture that you had drawn before that showed your future love that you showed us all. Does she look like your girlfriend? Oh my God. I have to find that. You're talking about that post I did. No, she looks nothing like her. Not nothing like her, but no. Okay, so I did one of these psychic artist drawings. I think that's what you're talking about. No, my sweetheart doesn't look like her. Maybe a little bit in the nose. It's hard to say, but no, not like her. But yeah, if you've ever done one of those psychic drawings, I did. It was like $40. I thought, you know, what the heck, just for fun, I'll do one of those things. You know why I did it? you know what? It was to be in that state of flow, to be in that state of love. And it wasn't about whether or not she looked like that person. It's about putting my heart in that space of abundance, that space of possibility, that sort of thing. So, yeah, Sandy, that's the answer. So, no, she doesn't look like it. And Rhonda comes back and says, I appreciate you as well, Jonathan. I love that. I love that. Do you see the power of gratitude? The power of gratitude, the power of appreciation. I appreciate you. I imagine I'm inviting you all to incorporate that into your lexicon on a regular basis going forward. All right. If you have a question, write the word question and post the question thereafter. Or you can purchase a super sticker, super chat. All the monies from the super sticker, super chat goes to a scholarship fund in the name of my son, Connor Asley. So I'd appreciate some love. All right, we're going to give it 10 more seconds. If we don't have anyone jump in, we're going to sign off really quickly. Going once. All right, going twice. Tropic Empress says, I appreciate you, Jonathan. I agree with you about integrity. Yes, if we're going to be in integrity with ourselves and the people we love, then our words must be our actions must be a reflection of our words. Roller Girl says, your girlfriend is gorgeous. You two look great. I posted this on my social media today. I'll post this I'll post it on my YouTube channel, but I'll just share it with you. We were out to dinner with some friends the other night, and this is a cute picture of my girlfriend. So that's my social media. Isn't she cute? I always say she's super, we talk about her being super high on the cute scale, super high on the cute scale. So yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Roller Girl. Roller Girl goes on her smile and twinkle and curly hair. Oh my God, her hair is like so cut in like 14,000 different ways on her head. It's like this big mop. I think that's what I always say. My nickname for her is Shags because it's like a woolly shaggy all over the place. She cuts her own hair. It's her unique style. Yes, Tropical Empress. And by the way, let me share with you why I talk about her frequently. I don't do it to brag. I'm not doing it to boast. I'm not doing it to flaunt. I'm here to say that the energy of love has a powerful magnifying force. If I can share what's in my heart from a powerful magnetic force, and the reason why I'm granular sharing with you every day is because we don't get role modeled this. Oftentimes we didn't get role modeled this when we were with our parents. We often saw the smudge, the sludge within our parents. Not always, but oftentimes. Or at least that's what we oftentimes remember. So I'm here to say the reason why I flaunt about it, brag about it, talk about it publicly, it's because I think we need more role models in this area. We need more people talking about love from a jacked up place. Do you agree with me? Do we need to talk about love from a more jacked up place? I think so. Instead of all the, why men use women, how women are gold diggers and all that stuff, I'm here to encourage a lot of love going forward, because if we can amplify love through appreciation, through gratitude, through gratefulness, I think we can attract what we most seek. And Tropical wants to go on to say she's a cute pet name, and that Sandy says she's fun. All right, folks, I think that'll wrap up today. Oh, here we got a question. Will we be able to see her on your podcast so we may ask her questions? She and I just talked about that last week, and most likely we are in October at the time of recording this, but most likely the first of the year. Probably after the holidays, Sandy. So yeah. So hopefully within 3 months, I'll have her on. And we'll see how it turns out. Oh my God, she's got such a lively personality. You guys are going to love her. And if you could be the fly on the wall of our conversations, oh my God, you think the two of us are insane. We go down these deep rabbit hole conversations. I mean, we always try to get to a conclusion, but we'll take one deep thought and go down another deep thought and go down another deep thought and all this stuff. We love psychology, human behavior, physiology, biohacking. What else? We love spirituality. We love time travel. We love the concept of multiverses. Oh my God, we're watching a show on Netflix right now called Dark, and it's a German show, and it's about time travel and all this stuff. And I mean, we love going down, and we'll pause it like 30 times per, like it takes us 2 hours to do a 1 hour episode. As we're always like, what happened? What do you think about this? And because we talk about how we feel about things. We just don't talk about things. We talk about how we feel about things. And I want to share this. So I want to share with everybody. And so I'll get her on the channel and you can witness some of our bizarre conversations. Tropic goes, I absolutely love deep conversations like that. Oh my God. By the way, Sundays, we can, I wake up a little earlier than her, but our coffee starts at 8 a.m. and we can go straight till the end of the evening, going down so many different conversational rabbit holes, deep stuff. So, and Sandy says, we'll be excited to meet her. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap up this video as I always, if you found value in this conversation, post a comment below. I do my best to read them all. No, she doesn't have an older brother. If you found value, post a comment below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. As always, if you want to connect, if you found value in this, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification. Oh, we got another question. All right, we'll take this. What can you as a woman in your 40s, wait, hi, Jonathan. Question, what can you as a woman in your 40s when you can't find men with the same values and purpose? So I recognize that it may be challenging to meet someone aligned with who you are and what you want. The problem is it's not like everybody who's your perfect match is standing on a street corner in front of you. I get that. So what do you do in the meantime? Okay, here's my invitation for everyone. Work on yourself. Do personal development, self-help, spiritual work. Spend an hour a day on your growth. Okay. Now that includes physically, staying physically fit, but I mean emotional growth, spiritual growth, physical growth. Okay. Work on that hour a day. I'm a big proponent of getting crystal clear on who you are and what you want. Let me tell you something. Women come to me all the time, Angela. Jonathan, I know what I want. I know what I want. I know what I want relationship. And they go through this proprietary coaching program I created. And can you guess what they say every single time? They say, Jonathan, why didn't they teach me this in school? Why didn't my parents teach me this? Why didn't I learn this before I did the wrong guy? Most of you have as much as you think, you all think you're the exception to the rule. But I've observed 99.9% of women I work with as my clients have no clue what they want outside of the fantasy. You guys have a great fantasy of what you want. You're really good at the fantasy. I'm talking at the concrete level. That's number one. And then learn good communication skills. You're going to have to learn how to navigate online dating because that's where you meet people. That's it. I'm sorry to say. I mean, yes, you can bump into people at the grocery store. You can do the, God, my nose is itchy. You can do the things you love. But I'm here to say online dating is a great way to connect and start getting really proficient at it. Put together a quality profile. My girlfriend and I met through an online dating app. And if we could do it, Angela, you could do it too because they exist out there. But work on yourself, get crystal clear on what you want, learn good communication skills, learn how to flirt, and put out a good representation of yourself. Okay, Angela? All right, hope that helps. Please let me know if that does help, Angela. All right, folks. Thank you for your advice. You're very welcome. All right. Listen, I'm going to wrap up this video as I always do. First off, give myself a big, gigantic Jonathan Barrick of self-love. I'm going to reach into the camera and give you a hug of love if that's okay. I'm going to ask you to turn to someone. Bet, a teddy bear, a pillow. Give it or them a hug of love because hugs are a great source of love. And let's face it, we could all use more love in our lives. Thanks a bunch. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye.